hello there! I'm glad you could make it. I'm Oswald B. Thompson, the CEO of Coaster Coast.
Oh, Oswald, I didn't realize we had a guest. I'm terribly sorry. It didn't come up on my schedule.
Not to worry, Eugene. This is the person I was telling you about. You're looking at the successor of Coaster Coast. Well, providing everything goes smoothly, of course. I can't just hand him the keys to the kingdom now, can I, eh?
Goodness, I do apologize. I've just checked my roster, and there you are, right between King Coaster and Queen Splash. Not quite sure how I managed to royally mess that up, but never mind. You're accounted for now.
Marvellous! Well, with that sorted, I think it's about time Eugene, our brilliant ride engineer, and I showed you the ropes. Consider this your official induction. Before we get started, we have a checklist of objectives from HR that we need to go through. I know, but it's been company policy ever since one of our interns didn't know how to move around. We left them to it, only to find them in the same spot 3 days later. Oh, that won't be you though. Let's try moving the camera around the park now. I've got something that I think you'll enjoy. It's time to build your first ride. I'll hand you over to Eugene. He won Ride Engineer of the Year in 2016, so you're in good hands.
I took the liberty of getting a ride ready for you to build. All you need to do is find a place to put it. Splendid! Our guests will need a way to access the ride, so let's add an entrance gate. You will need to connect a queue path to the ride entrance. Without one, guests will not be able to access the ride. We obviously won't need queues for guests leaving the ride. Could you imagine? So you'll need to make sure you're connecting a standard park path to the exit gate. And that's it. That's all the steps for building...
It's also worth noting that our guests will have to pay for tickets to enjoy the rides in our parks. We control how much we charge, though. So let's encourage guests to ride our latest attraction by setting the ticket price to bargain for now. We can always increase the price later. As I like to say, when you achieve popularity, charge premium for prosperity. But one step at a time, eh? For now, a very well done and a shiny medal earned. That's your first ride built, and I'm sure it'll be the first of many. The addition of a new ride will have given a slight boost to our park rating. Multiple different factors contribute to this rating, so you'll want to pay attention to the park rating overview. The better the rating, the more guests will visit.
While driving the guest count up is good, we need to make sure the guests also remain happy while they're visiting. As you can see, we've just received a report that not all of the guests are enjoying themselves. It seems some are rather thirsty. To avoid this in the future, it's handy to keep checking on the Guest Needs tab. If things start dropping too low, you should step in and solve the issue before guests decide to leave.
Let's start by quenching any thirst amongst our guests with a new drink shop. Brilliant! Now, the guests will need somewhere to relieve themselves after all that intake. Why not build a toilet nearby? We wouldn't want our guests walking around with crossed legs now, would we? That isn't good for anyone's posture.
Speaking of walking, guests will get tired pretty quickly and their energy will drop if they don't have a place to sit. We should make sure there are plenty of benches available. Think of them as Plankonian recharging stations. They're even wireless.
Amazing work! The guests will be a lot happier now. However, it does come at a price. More food and drink in the park also means more waste.
Exactly. So it's important we have enough bins for people to properly dispose of their waste.
Fantastic! That'll keep the park looking cleaner. We shouldn't stop there, though. Let's make the park look even better by adding some scenery around the ride you built. That way, guests can enjoy the view while they queue. I think that's everything checked off the scenery list. Well done!
Wow! The park is looking great! I can see why Oswald picked you. You're a natural. Now, if we're to keep adding more rides or facilities, they need to be connected to the power grid. Select an existing generator to view its info panel and see how much electricity it's producing. As you can see, the generator is powering a network that covers the area filled with rides and facilities. Let's expand that network to cover an open area of the park. To do that, place and connect the additional power facility to the grid. Nicely done! It's all running very smoothly indeed. But to keep the generators maintained and working, you must hire mechanics. Without them, the generators will start gaining a condition penalty, which will decrease the power output. Oh, it seems we don't actually have any mechanics hired. Well, that won't do. Let's hire a few straight away. It may seem excessive, but they're essential when it comes to the maintenance of rides and facilities. Uh-oh, I must have jinxed it. We've had a ride break down. Good job we have those mechanics to go and nurse it back to health. An available mechanic will automatically be assigned to fix a broken ride. However, if one is not available, you will have to select the Call Mechanic button to reassign somebody to the job. Be careful, though, as reassigning a staff member might mean you no longer have coverage elsewhere.
Hiring staff is just the beginning, though. You also need to pay attention to staff morale. If it gets too low, staff will start to quit their jobs. Breaks are absolutely essential when it comes to keeping staff morale up. And just like guests, our staff need a place to re-energize. To make all of their tired little dreams come true, you should place a staff building. Admittedly, they're not the most glamorous of buildings. So, I'd advise you to place your staff building away from the guest areas, wherever possible. After all, we don't want to bring down that scenery rating that you worked so hard to build up. Great! Now the park staff have somewhere to go on their breaks and enjoy some peace and quiet. We just need to ensure our inquisitive guests don't go waltzing on in there for the free coffee, claiming to be lost. The best way to avoid this is by connecting an exclusive staff-only path to the building. Guests won't dare step foot on those tiles.
We'll need to build a mechanic workshop. Here, mechanics will generate research points that are used to unlock new items for your park.
Let's leave the mechanic to it for now. We'll revisit this soon.
Oh, what an exquisite sight. I think I need a moment.
Oh, get some every time. Ah, just in time. Our mechanic has earned enough research points to unlock something exciting. Let's take a look at the research tree and aim to unlock the coaster pack. It'll bring a tear to Eugene's eye.
Oh my! Oswald, is that the one I was designing?
The very same, lad. I was just about to make a start on it. But I tell you what, why don't you walk our new friend through it?
It would be my pleasure. Now, this is just a little something I made earlier. First things first, you'll need to select the blueprint. Good. And place the coaster down wherever there is enough space. Perfect. One important note here is that, unlike Flat Ride, while we wait for the test to finish, let's take the opportunity to add some scenery around the coaster. And remember to open the ride like you did earlier on.
Oh, that is a beauty! Terrific work, you two. This is a coaster that truly deserves a place in the spotlight. So, how about we put together an advertisement to mark the occasion? Head to the advertising tab in the park management menu and let's show the world what the park has to offer. There aren't different audiences to cater for, however, so it's worth considering which advertisement will bring the most guests to your park. While we wait for our campaign to start bringing in more guests, why don't you try out the ride camera and experience all the exhilaration the coaster will have to offer firsthand? How was that? Enough for the time being? Thank you again for all your hard work. Coaster Coast is going to be in the best of hands, I can tell.
Oswald, you're not...
I'm not going anywhere just yet, Eugene. Don't panic. We're just getting started, dipping our toes in the... Actually, hold that thought. I've got just the job lined up for you. I'll send you the details. See you soon.
conocerlo, man. Lämmu wala kela.